I need to fade that out on the main video, but welcome guys. This is Art Bros. Right now, just Art Bro. The other bros on another stream. He'll be over in a minute, but this is the Friday night edition because we're expanding the channel so quickly that we're just adding days. This is the third day we stream now. We stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and now Fridays. And we're going to try to do as much as we can because there's just so many creators, so many people you want to talk to, so many things you want to talk about. Just can't get to everybody. And otherwise I'd be pushing people out to like April already. And so I'm glad that I'm able to do more. I want to do other videos for like tutorials and stuff coming up soon as well. What you just saw, this little clip here, I'll put a little more clip of this. This is the soundtrack that is about 4 or 5 songs that will accompany Star Circuit if it hits 11K. That means everybody who backs it at all will get this this soundtrack, which I'm calling the companion mixtape. So it's by a bunch of various artists. So don't worry, it's a bunch of indies, and indie artists are the best artists because they're putting absolutely everything. They're putting we kind of talked about this behind the scenes with Kemosabe already, but the indie guys got everything. They have to pretty much donate all of themselves into it because their life has to revolve around their art. And so these indies artists that I want to support will get their creds and everything in the email that I send out later on. And yeah, it's just, even if you got the digital perk, you're going to get this. So that's everybody. And I'm super excited for it. So let's check out the chat real quick before we move on. Before I got in here, Darren had let us know about, I think this is talking about Shane Davis's promotion stream coming up. And if anybody's got projects out there, probably need to hit that up. So I will probably try to do that tomorrow. We got Herrenberg. Is that how you pronounce it? Herrenberg is in the house. I told you to come over from Critical Blast, and you did. You got out early, and I appreciate you coming over. I want to see your skills. You are a link slinger like no other, and so I'm glad you're here. B-Rose is in the house as well. Thanks, B-Rose. And Darren again, and Art Jedi from he's kind of infamous now for being the youngest dude in CG doing pencil work. So and he's already spent out links. Thank you, Jedi. Really much appreciate it. Amorous shows up. I haven't seen your lovely voice in a long time. Good to see you on the channel. And Herrenberg mentions it's kind of John Carpenter, the synthwave that I've got going on. I agree. It's got like a little bit. I wanted it very dark. The book has dark tones, even though it's like a fun, colorful book. It's going to dive into things that you relate to more than you might think, more than androids would, So I'm glad everybody's here. Jeremy's, like I said, is showing up later. So we're going to intro our sweet guest. He is a Aussie that has one of the best books I've ever seen in a long time, especially indie book, obviously, because back in the day, quality is just kind of known in the mainstream, not of recently, but back in the day. And this book really just screams quality. So I'm excited to have on Kemosabe. Let's see here. What's up, man?
G'day, everyone. I'm the man called Kemosabe, the man with the plane from the land down under, and thanks for having me on your show, Joe.
Hey, no problem, dude. I'm getting used to talking to you guys. When I say you guys, I mean Aussies, because of the guys over at How to Draw Comics, those guys, the Barton Bros, and they were like the first people I've ever talked to in a live interaction that had the accent. And you do have to like kind of guess what they're saying a little bit, somewhat.
Fill in the gaps a bit.
Yeah, fill in the gaps, and so I'm getting used to it for sure. Jeremy, this is Jeremy, is Nargilus. He's ready to come in. Did I give him the chat link? I guess not. That's what I'll do. He's like, send me the link, dude. Let me send that link over to the guy. In the meantime, can you give us a little synopsis of maybe your time with comic books in general, or your history of what got you into comics, what your favorite books were as a kid or something?
Yeah, absolutely. As you probably heard a few Australians, I'm hitting 40 this year, so I was born in the early 80s. When I was growing up, it was really tough to get your hands on comic books in Australia. Some people, whenever I say that, some people say, no, I'm Australian, I found it easy. I'm like, that's cool. Did you live in Sydney? Did you live in Melbourne? Yeah, you found it easy. You live out on a sheep station, out in Fink somewhere near Alice Springs, you're going to find it difficult to find comics that aren't the Phantom. And I love the Phantom, don't get me wrong. The Phantom's got some of the best, deepest lore. You've got over 600 years of devotionally categorized lore of every Phantom, every generation. It's well known, it's documented. You look at a Phantom wiki, these guys know exactly what they're talking about. There's no gaps there. G'day, mate. How you going?
Hey, how you doing?
Jeremy?
Keep rolling.
Yeah, right. So it was tough to get a hold of like Marvel and DC stuff. So I used to get these two types of comics. You'd either get these black and white compendiums where they'd get like a Justice League story, a Batman story, a Superman story, and Aquaman or Hawkman or something, jam the whole thing together, put it on the shelf. It didn't sell. They'd tear the cover off, I'd give it to a secondhand bookstore. I'd pick it up for 50 cents as a kid, and I'd just read those things slavishly. I'd color them with crayons. I'd cut the little figures out. I learned to read doing them. I copy them all. Like, comics is in my blood. Just everything. Growing up, comics is all that mattered. It's like I was going to be either a comic book creator or a paleontologist, because dinosaurs are awesome.
Yeah.
And that's like the two options I had, And and you also get these little digest versions of Marvel comics. You get like 4 or 5 Ghost Rider stories from when Johnny Blaze was working as a stuntman in LA, and he's fighting like the Water Wizard and stuff like that. Like really good 70s type Roy Thomas, John Buscema sort of stuff in these little like Reader's Digest sized books, and they were fantastic. I had a Ms. Marvel one. I used to love Ms. Marvel back when she was Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers with the short bob hair and the we're going to make it after all type storylines. They were good fun, fighting androids and that sort of thing. So if you grew up in Australia back in the 80s and the 90s, it was tough to get your hands on comics on any sort of regular basis. When you move to close to the coast to a big city, you could go into the comic book, go into the newsagent and pick up a copy of Spider-Man, but they wouldn't be there next month. It'd be there the month after, and then you'd miss it for 3 months. You couldn't collect with any sort of seriousness. And then I sort of hit 16 or 17, and my dad knew a guy who owned a comic book store in the Hunter region. And I'm like, I blew my mind. I didn't know there's such a thing as a store you'd go to actually buy comic books. I just get them from the newsagents. That's the only place. And I just get whatever I could get. I'd walk down with my pocket money. I'm like, what, I've got 2 Spider-Mans, a Batman, a Superman. Good. That's my pocket money done. And then I realized I could get them regularly. I could collect them, and I could follow all the stories, because you guys probably know what it's like. You'd pick up West Coast Avengers 151, and there'd be a little editor's note, see West Coast Avengers 132 for this story. I'm like, There's been this whole mythology, White Vision. Like I remember coming in on Avengers in the 90s with Beardless Hercules, White Vision, Black Knight with a lightsaber, Cersei and Crystal were on the Avengers, Black Widow was running the whole thing. A fantastic art style there. They were fighting Proctor and his whole bunch of de-evolutionized, whatever those guys were. I can't remember what they're called now. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. I realized I could collect them regularly in this whole mythology, and that just blew my mind. And this thing I wanted to be a part of. And it was never enough for me to just write a Spider-Man story or draw a Superman story. I always wanted to do my own thing. I never wanted to do what somebody else did. I remember looking at an old Spider-Man issue, Sal Buscema, Spectacular Spider-Man, 100 and something, when Harry Osborn was going nuts, and
right.
He'd do stuff where he'd taunt Spider-Man. He'd be in a mental institution with Spider-Man, and he'd start humming Peter, Pumpkin Eater, stuff like that, because he knew who Spider-Man was. And he'd just say, hey, Peter. And Peter would flip out. He's behind his mask going, don't you do this? Don't you do this? Don't you wreck my life? And he'd just start singing, Peter, Pumpkin Eater. He goes, I love nursery rhymes, don't you? And you're like, oh, Harry, you're so evil. And I was so mad at him. And then in issue 200, I think he died saving Spider-Man's life. He ODs on his own goblin formula, pushing his powers to the limit to save Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's there holding him, and Harry's dying in his arms. He goes, Harry, why'd you do it? And he goes, how could I not Peter, you're my best friend. And then he dies right there in his arms. I'm like, but he wouldn't have been in that danger, Harry, if you hadn't put him in that danger. Like the duality, the black and white and the shades of grey in between. I loved it. It's modern mythology. And I remember reading the credits and I saw, okay, hold on, there's a writer, there's a penciler, and an inker and a letter. And screw that, man. I'm going to do everything. I don't want to share the glory with anybody else. then you grow up and you realize I'm going to share the glory with anyone. Who wants to work with me? This is too big a job, man. You know, I plateaued on I went to art school, but I plateaued early on. I never put in the time on the fundamentals that I should have. I was only saying on a stream yesterday with Dean and some of the Comics Mate boys, you know, I don't regret the choices I made in life because it got me to the university and where I met my wife and had kids. That's what I wouldn't change that. I'd die before I changed that. But gee, I wish I could get those wasted years back. Or you just sit around just screwing around your PlayStation 1, like trying to double S rank Resident Evil 2. I'm like, what a waste of time. That's 3 years I could have been drawing, man. Like I wish I could get that time back. I wish I could go back. But
I was gonna say, to interrupt you real quick because you bring that up, Jeremy, Kemosabe's actually got talent. I've seen it firsthand on stream. He might be humble about it, but if he had like some extra time, whatever, I swear to God, he could probably draw his own book. I think he would.
Next minute,
he'd be close.
It's those fundamentals. Yeah, I recognize there's different ways of learning. Different people are different.
I can tell just by when he's saying fundamentals, art school, the way he's taught, just the passion and the stories. I mean, I gotta look you up, dude. I gotta be checking this stuff out.
Yeah, it's a good book. I
did do my homework. I checked in, but I'm like, hey, hold on.
Yeah,
Joe says that. I gotta go deeper. Okay.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel where I do critical reviews of indie comic books as well, because I sort of think we need to hold ourselves to that high standard. And I remember Mim Headroom used to do this sort of thing where he'd read an issue of Batgirl and he said, look, there's stuff in here that works. And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't. He goes, if I was writing it, he was a fantastic reviewer. I don't know. I think he graduated, he got a job, but he doesn't do reviews anymore, which is a shame. And there's a bit of drama there. I don't know who said what. I'm trying to miss me with the drama. I'm just here to make comic books and have fun. But there's some drama there, and he decided to bow out. But he used to do this thing where he'd say, what I would have done, using the framework you've got, this is how I would have written the story. And I'm like, this dude is on. That's a great format. So that's what I do. I do what I call the good, the bad, and the ugly, with like a Humphrey Bogart type theme and the old noir music and everything. I've branded the whole channel that way. I tell you what you did right, what I think you did wrong, and how I do it differently. The ugly is when I really get into it and say, look, this was working, but you could have pushed it in this direction. You could have taken it here. I was expecting this. You didn't meet my expectation. Now, you don't have to meet my expectation, but consider how much better the book might have been if you'd gone in this direction. And my hope was that, sorry, go on.
So you are the artist, writer, everything on this?
No, just the writer. That's what
I was trying to say.
Right.
Yeah, he could be because from what I've seen, he has. Glory. Yeah. Well,
yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt it again. I'm just seeing this. I'm like, wow. So yeah,
I wish. No, it's I had to go find an artist that could has the sort of style I need, that paramilitary style. Somebody could do pouches and nuts and bolts and guns and feet.
Yep.
You know, there's some great artists out there that are amazing at pouches, but not so good at feet. I needed someone who covered the whole. Right, you know what I'm talking about. There's different ways of learning. What I'm saying is, if I had formal instruction on, like, some people are self-taught. You know, some people pick up a guitar and that sort of thing. Like, I tried learning guitar, I couldn't do it. It was too regulated for me, and I didn't have formal instruction. I'm sure if I had someone over my shoulder saying, this is why your fundamental sketch is wrong, this is why your panel composition is wrong, go check this out. If I had that, I think I could make real progress, but I'm never going to make progress sitting in my study here just sketching superheroes. I'm better off writing and then using my wife's money, because I'm married up and I'm a kept man, using my wife's money to pay Brazilian artists to draw the damn thing for me. And that's what I've done. That's the company man, Dead, White, and Blue. I wrote it back in sort of 2011, 2012. And when I say I wrote it that long ago, I mean, that's more than 10 years ago now. I'm not saying it like it's my grand magnum opus, like it's my lifelong story. It's just the story that I think is the most visually cool. It can ride on the coattails of some of that sweet, sweet Jawbreakers money. I'm not ashamed to say it. If you like Jawbreakers, you're going to probably love the Company Man. If you thought the Jawbreakers didn't take it far enough, check out the Company Man. These dudes are kicking dudes' heads off and tearing people's arms off. It's fantastic. Cyborgs and ripping hearts out of people. It's like Mortal Kombat crossed with Suicide Squad, crossed with Homeland and Body of Lies and Strike Back. It's good stuff. So I was sitting out in the middle of the rain one Christmas, and it was just pouring rain. I was stuck under a tarp, and the weather forecast said it was going to rain for a week. The weather forecast said it was going to be sunny for a week, and it rained for a bloody week is what actually happened. I'm stuck under a tarp. I've been watching all this Middle Eastern cinema, Black Hawk Down, stuff like that, reading a lot of books about it, and I just had the idea of this, the bleakness of it. Everything's puce, everything's desert, everything's rocks and goats and AKs and rocket launchers launchers and little they're also like hacking satellites and stuff with these jury rigged laptops that have got duct tape holding them together. And it's just this amazing world. Great. I thought, imagine if you took a half a dozen big, colorful balls of superheroes like the Suicide Squad, something like that, and just drop these guys right in the middle of it and say, all right, cope. Because there's a great movie, Body of Lies, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe. And you guys know. So Russell Crowe's on the phone. He's saying, all right, Leo, I need you to go and kill this dude, get this information, assassinate him, do this sort of thing. And then his wife's like, oh, honey, dinner's ready. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll just go pick up the kids from soccer practice and we'll come in. And Leo's on the other phone going, mother, I'm over here getting shot at. I'm over here getting stabbed. My life's in a constant threat. And I can hear why I'm saying, do you want glazed carrots or garlic carrots? Like, you're living the dream and I'm out here in the dirt dying. And I just thought there's a disconnect between what the people on high, and I've seen every job you guys have ever been, I'm sure it's the same. The boss tells you, we need to implement that. And you think, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't been on the floor in the warehouse. You haven't been in the whatever it is you do. You haven't been on the ground floor to know that doesn't work. But I'm going to have to follow your stupid policy. And then when it falls down, you're going to blame me for it anyway. Shit rolls downhill. So I wanted those guys that get told, go and do this. And they roll their eyes and go, we're going to get killed. But what are we doing? It's just a suicide mission. So
I see here our Jedi already is recognizing most of the people here have already backed. However, if we get more backers, I'm going to drink out of my box wine, out of the box, straight from the box, as I always do. I don't know what a good number would be to market, but is this a new trailer? Because I think this is like a new thumbnail for your.
That's the same one that came in originally with it.
Do you like playing it or no?
Yeah, let's play it. It goes for 2 minutes. That's not too long for a trailer.
Sure, we doing a whole hour, so it's all on you, man.
Oh, great,
we're good.
Great.
Let's listen to this trailer, watch this trailer, and consider backing twice, guys.
G'day everyone, I am the man called Kemosabe, the man with the plan from the land down under, and I'm here to talk to you about the company men, Dead, White and Blue. The company men, Dead, White and Blue, adds the action of Suicide Squad to the intrigue of Homeland and Body of Lies. It strikes back with superpowers. In a world where being superhuman is illegal, they are America's dirty little secret. A CIA-funded prevention and response unit on paper, but in reality, a superhuman hit squad protecting the nation's interests in the Middle East. When they receive information that a terrorist attack is imminent, one that will affect even the United States, they follow every lead in a desperate race against the clock to stop it. At every turn, they are betrayed and attacked by enemy and ally alike, until a final showdown tests their loyalty to their country, their job, and each other. This 60-page full-color book is packed with action and intrigue. It's the first issue in a 3-issue story totaling 180 pages, and the language, violence, and concepts are aimed at an adult audience, with a story that is layered and involved. This story, titled Dead, White and Blue, is the first arc out of 4 stories that tell the complete Company Men saga. All the pencils and inks are completed, and about half the colours and letters are done as well. The remaining colours, letters, and the setup of the digital file is budgeted for separate to this Indiegogo campaign. No matter what happens, this book is being published. Fulfillment is being handled independently by RJ from Critical Blast Logistics. Now, you guys know RJ. He's a stand-up guy with experience in this field, and he's worked hard to minimise international postage, letting us pass those savings on to you. We also have a Clayton Barton exclusive variant cover. This image graces the deluxe edition of the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, an oversized stuffed to the gills edition filled with concept art, pin-ups, script pages, costume designs, page breakdowns, behind-the-scenes info, and sneak peeks at upcoming Company Men projects. The campaign goes live 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday the 19th on Indiegogo. I want to stress again, the success of this book, its ability to be completed, does not rest on this campaign. This campaign is to raise funds for the publishing and distribution of the comic. As we speak, Kelso Mazzino is already hard at work on the first pages of issue 2. You can back this campaign with confidence. And if you think this Aussie accent makes me sound dodgy and you aren't sure if you want to sink some of your hard-earned money into the Company Men, we also have a more inexpensive digital version available in the campaign. But I'm confident once you see how good this book looks, you won't rest until you have a physical copy in your hands. Thanks for having a look at this campaign, thanks for your consideration and support, and I hope you enjoy reading The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue as much as I did writing it.
Nice.
That's great. So
thanks.
It's one of those trailers where it's not obviously visually based because it's not like cut like a cinematic trailer, but you get the most info about. It's the most like info about the story and about like the
fulfillment.
The fulfillment and logistics of it that most people don't give, and it's kind of nice to see. Like, it's one thing that I'm completely lacking on my trailer. I'm just like, this is what the story is. Don't worry, you get it. kind of thing, and you're doing a good job there. So maybe we can run through some of the key things. Do you want to go through just like the team and maybe like the basic, the elevator pitch and everything?
Yeah, if we just scroll through the page, like I'll just talk. So the logo there, that was done by Bob Stone. If you guys know Bob Stone on Twitter, he's a fantastic artist. He did the Jawbreakers logo, does a bunch of logos. He's actually an amazing sequential artist and pin-up artist as well, and character designer. So if you need some work done, hit up Bob Stone because he's a consummate professional. I went in there saying, man, I want Jawbreakers, I want guns sticking out, I want the American flag, eagles and shit, I want stars and Budweisers and and all the good stuff. And he's like, nah, bro, you don't want that. That's the Jawbreakers. You want something different. You want a little bit more low key. Your guys are CIA, right? Backstabbers, sneaking around, assassinating people, making it look like accidents. You want something a bit more low key. So he mixed it up and he come back to me with the logo I didn't know that I wanted. I'm like, I'm so close, man. I'm not quite sure. It's really good, but it's not quite hitting me. He goes, okay, check this out. And then he tilted it like 12 degrees back, so the bottom's just slightly bigger than the top. And I was like, take my money, boom. So all my branding, all my graphics, all my logos and stuff, I go to Bob now because he's just the man. He just knows what he's talking about. Scene here, this is the opening scene of the book. So this guy, I'm calling this the James Bond intro. You guys know, you watch a James Bond movie, the first 5 or 10 minutes, he does something really cool and solves a problem. He kills a bad guy, eliminates a terrorist, stops a bomb, whatever, and then the credits play, and then you get the Bond sign. Then he goes into M's office and she gives him the actual mission. And Mission Impossible does the same thing. There's a scene, he pulls his mask off and it's Tom Cruise, and then the credits play, and then he gets the actual story for the mission. For the movie. That's what this is. This is just Jura's 9 o'clock appointments. This guy in the jacket here, his name's Jura. His code name's Icebreaker. He hates it. Don't call him Icebreaker. He doesn't like it at all. He prefers just to go by his surname. And he's been sent in to assassinate this guy, which he does. And that's just his 9 o'clock appointment. He ticks it off, and then he's off to Nigeria to do another job. Like, this is his every day. Every hour of every day he's doing this sort of stuff. So he lands in this area, this African country. He talks about this guy, Tuma Kagosi. He's a reverend, considered himself a god on earth. He says, I'm direct link to heaven. I'm a walking god on earth. And Jura says, how come these gods on earth always need bulletproof glass? If they're godlike, why do they? I'll tell you why. They need bulletproof glass to protect them from guys like me. So this guy here in the suit, that's Benak Kwasi. He's the son of the king of the original country that Tahuma Kagosi took over. So Kagosi was a general. He led a bloody coup, killed the king, took over the country, and now he's running it like a dictator. He's also letting terrorists funnel from nations above his nation through his nation down into the Middle Eastern area. So he's flooding the region with terrorists. They need this guy. That is definitely the first comic book to ever be set in Burundi. They want this guy out of the way so they can put the son of the original king in as a puppet leader, following all of the CIA and America's policies. We're going to kill off Kagosi. We're going to replace him with Benak Kwasi. He's going to do everything we tell him to do. He's going to put up border protection. He's going to stop the terrorists from flooding through. It's going to give us relief in these other areas where we're actually waging war. So it's very, very tactical. It's very big scale thinking. It's geopolitical. If we take over this region, we stop the terrorists coming through. It gives our troops relief down below in those other parts of the Middle East and that sort of thing. So Jira's here, but he knows if he kills this guy, who everybody considers a god on earth in this nation, if he just kills him, it's going to look like they're going to make a martyr out of him. It's going to be clear the CIA, America, the Great Satan, whatever you want to call them, has done, that's what they call you guys over there, the Great Satan. No, it's just America, USA, just 3 letters. It's not that hard. It's going to look like a martyr, and people are going to fight back, and then you're going to be fighting yet another war. So what they're going to do is kill him with an act of God. He says, this guy considers himself a god, but I'm the one that's about to perform a miracle. I'm going to make it snow in Africa. Now he summons an ice storm, and he very, very slowly channels it towards Kagosi, and he starts freezing, and he gives a description of how that happens. Like when you put ice cube trays in the freezer, you don't fill them to the top, otherwise they overspill. You put a can of Coke in the freezer, it's going to split because it can't contain. Fluids expand as they freeze. So his blood starts to expand inside of his veins and starts to pop. The moisture of his skin starts to split, and his whole body starts to rupture. He looks down at his hand and sees his hands turn just like frozen, and then you go to the next page and you see what happens.
Awesome. Dude, that's so cool. That's the stuff that you want to hear about, because that's well thought out. That's everything relates to each other. That's the things that I like to see, because everything adds to the world.
I definitely want to do, in my writing advice videos, I always say brand your character as soon as possible. as soon as you can, get them on the screen or on the page and have them doing something that is uniquely them, uniquely cool, that nobody else can do, but also tells you something about their character. So Juro rocks up to an African nation, says, look, I'm the only white guy for literally 100 miles. I wouldn't last a minute down there. So what I'm going to do, I can't shoot him with my gun and kill him. That's too obvious. I'm going to summon a snowstorm. It's going to focus on him. He's going to freeze to death. And if you go to the next page, you'll see he just absolutely shatters all over the stage. His hand freezes there. You see the stump of his hand. You can see his intestines coming out the side. Even the podium's frozen. He shatters. He scatters bloody chunks across the podium. Everybody flees. This guy's not even dead. And you can see Juro getting a call from the boss. The boss is saying, look, Juro, I need you in Nigeria. One of our informants has got picked up by Nigerian national security, and we need you to assassinate him before he gives out too much information to them. However, he's got info we need. So get over there, get the information from him, then kill him, then escape Nigeria. You're on your own, by the way. I'm not going to give you any backup whatsoever. And he's like, yeah, cool. No, that's cool. That's cool. I'll do that. I'll get right on that.
Right. It's part of the job.
Yeah, and it's just a fantastic scene there. You can see everyone's dropped their placards. Everybody's scattered. Everyone's fleeing. I love that page.
The dude, no, because you can see him like dead and smoking over there in the back. It's pretty hilarious. Well, gruesome, but hilarious. So we can imagine most of the scenes are like this, very on the comms a lot, kind of action.
Lots of back and forward. She's always got like little drones and stuff checking up on them and giving a little bit of support here and there, updating their information, constantly monitoring what's happened. So it'll be like, boss, did you catch that? She's like, yep, this is what I want you to do next. So they very much follow her lead. She's the leader. She reports to the region director of this area, and then that person reports directly to the president. So it's a very flat hierarchy there. They're getting their orders second or third hand from the president. So it's pretty close to the top there.
So I've heard a lot about this book already. Obviously, you're actually kind of helping edit Star Circuit. So we've been in talks a little bit on behind the scenes anyway about a story and whatnot. But there's also like some other things that I always like to ask. Things like,
I love talking about myself, so feel free.
Sure. I think it's more about your decisions for maybe art choice or why you went with this guy, because I noticed he kind of draws like Malin, and since it's kind of like Jawbreakers, what was that? Is that why, or is it you just like it happened? It's a coincidence.
It's a happy accident.
Okay.
I didn't make the immediate connection until I started getting the inked pages. He pencils and inks his own stuff, and he sends them through to me black and white, and then I send them off to his mate who's a colorist, and that guy colors them for me. I get them back. I send them over to Stephen Koch from Sigmate Studios, who's done Terra Olympus. He's done Transhuman, fantastic sci-fi, realistic sci-fi, hard sci-fi books I've reviewed on my channel. He's a great creator. He's doing all the letters. He's also doing the digital file and a bunch of other stuff for me, because he's fulfilled, g'day Dean, he's fulfilled a half a dozen books already. So I'm coming to him with all these jumbled pages going, help me, Stephen, and he's sorting it out, and I'm paying him some money. So it's, I originally went for this guy, Kemosabe Returns. I saw him on Reddit. I'm not on Facebook. I am now, but I don't really use it that much. It's very confusing. Twitter is very streamlined. Facebook is it's like trying to, every time you want to do something, you open up a phone book and you look at this going, do I really have to deal with this? I'm hardly ever on it. But whereas Greg Levitra of Gun Demon, he's on it all the time. He's got like 3,000 followers. He's got like this huge community over there. I just can't seem to get my head around the way that it works. I'm booming it up pretty hard.
Yeah, and I'd say Instagram's even worse. It's like it's so hard to get anything done. You can't get links to anything. It's
nothing's where it should be. I go, okay, I would expect this feature to be here, but it's not. Of course it's not. Why would you put it where I want it to be? So I'm not on social media a lot, aside from my Twitter there, which I started around this time last year. So I've only been on for a year. But
it's too funny.
You got to have the right artist for the job. That's the truth. So I was searching online, and then I found a subreddit. I don't go on Reddit, but I found a subreddit for, I think it's called Comic Book Collaborations, and a bunch of people to say, look, I write, I draw, I color, or whatever. I'm looking for someone to work with. This is my rates, or I want to do it for free, or we're going to split profits, all that sort of stuff. It's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a jungle. And it was around Christmas time, year before last, and I was just flipping through page after page after page, and I saw Kelso do some Punisher pages. And there's motorbikes doing big jumps, and there's helicopters on an angle, and everybody's got M4s and stars and stuff. And I'm like, this guy knows how to draw paramilitary stuff. Everyone's got the straps and the SWAT gear and all that sort of stuff. Like he knows what he's doing. So I hit him up and said, man, I've got this book. It's 180 pages. I know it's a long slog, but can you tell me your rates? Are you available? This is what it's all about. Metahumans in the Middle East, lots of pouches, lots of guns, lots of bomber jackets, that sort of stuff. Do you think you can fly that? And he's like, yeah, man, I'll do that. And once I got the first few pages back, like you said, there's definitely that Malin overlap there, where they both harken back to sort of that big, chunky, bombastic 90s style that you got back in sort of like, Image I loved all the Brigade and Blood Pack and all that sort of stuff, like all those throwaway characters that Rob Liefeld made.
For me, it's that, but also his if you pay attention to some of the line quality, like I noticed it on like just some of the headshots, you just can really tell it's similar in style. I'm trying to find specifically where I really thought it resembled, but just I guarantee if you looked at the pencils, I feel like you would even come out even more where you'd be like, oh, okay, this feels a little bit more like his approach to line, what we call economy of line, which is like, you know, curve versus straights. Where do you put those? And different, you know, I like he's using the same shapes as Malin would use. But that's what kind of stuff we talk about on Art Bros. Get a little
definitely
bit
a happy
insights.
coincidence.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool, man.
I'm happy to Venn diagram right into their business. I'm happy to take a big right out of that.
So if these characters were listening to, maybe there's like a movie and like it's the intro shot and you had to play a song behind them. Do you have like a song that would like scream this kind of team's vibe? Not necessarily what they'd be all listening to, or you know, is there like a, you know, some interesting, or it's just something you envision like their vibe in the music?
No, because there's cross generation. Like Abbott, the big guy there, he's 90 years old, you know, and they come from all over the world, so they're very, very different. This book's actually more about them coming together as a team. They work well in combat. They're able to back each other up. You know, you see the X-Men in the Danger Room, and there's, you know, Alpha 14, Blue 11 is Dave Chappelle doing that Prince sketch, you know, like Luke Computer, and they're doing all the plays and skins versus the frills, right? And that sort of
the blouses,
thing. Like, the blouses, yeah. And so it's that sort of thing. Like they work well as a team, but they don't necessarily all get along. So this book, because they're out in the cold, because the government cuts them off, because the government says, no, you're going in a direction we don't want, you're pursuing this angle too hard, we're going to cut you off, we're going to expunge the records, you never work for us, you're rogue agents, you're out on your own. They've only got each other to rely upon, and they have to actually come together more as a team. So I'd say by the end of the book, all 180 pages, when they come together and unify for that big climactic ending, that's when you could definitely be looking for a unifying song that would bring them together.
Definitely not in the beginning. That's cool to know, though, because that's the first thing I like to look at in scripts is, or in general, any story. Like if you watch the first scene versus the last scene, they should be completely different. The arc should be there where their character changes, and they almost. I feel like that's what a lot of people. It's a hack that a lot of screenwriters and actors use in movies to see if they like a script. Is just see, like, oh, is there going to be a development, you know, happening between these characters? And that's really good to know. So they maybe would listen to have a soundtrack in the end, but in the beginning, definitely not.
I did be very, you know, like Abbott was born in 1945 as a fully grown man in a lab under the Capitol for the purpose of killing Hitler. Like it was designed. He's their Captain America. It was built, grown, come out of a test tube to go over and kill Hitler. And the minute they cover him in the red, white, and blue, he's got all the regalia, all the big Captain America type gear and everything. You know, bright red boots, big star on his chest, you know, eagle shoulder pads, whatever. The minute he jumps off the plane in Berlin, ready to go kill Hitler and end the war, he gets the news. Oh, we just found the Fuhrer in the bunker. He shot himself. He's dead. And Abbott's like, oh, I'm 2 weeks old and I don't even know what am I going to do. I'm a fully grown man. I've been designed for one purpose only: kill Adolf Hitler, and now he's gone. What am I going to do with myself? You know, and that's part of his. You know, he's never felt like a hero because he was never able to do what he was designed to do, even though he's one of the strongest people in the whole world.
So, would you say he'd listen to music at all? Would he?
I'd
be
say,
a music dude?
He'd listen. No, he's very much salt of the earth, blue collar, Rust Belt America on his Harley. He's got
Cash, then.
Yeah, all like stuff from the era, you know, stuff from that sort of 40s, 50s, 60s. Very much Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, very much big old hillbilly, a big old cowboy. He's on his Harley, crisscrossing America, getting into trouble, causing trouble. I've got a spin-off of his own called Abbott, Dark Side of the Moon, and it's just him on a road trip across America, getting into trouble. And just you see him just, you know, because he's his first superhero, he's the oldest superhero, he's the first superpowered person. Most superheroes that are in this world descend from him in some form or another. Like genetically, the work that was done on him that was lost is used as the basis for future stuff. So in a way, a lot of them, he's their great-great-grandfather sort of thing generationally. Whoa. Some resent him for that, some look up to him for that. And he's like, I don't want any of that, man. I'm still my job. I'm just twisting bad dudes' heads off over here in Iraq and getting paid for it. Like, don't lump that on me. But at the same time, he wants to be that hero in the red, white, and blue that he was born to be and never had the chance to do.
Damn. That's crazy. I noticed this. I was like, this is one of the best. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. That's the sort of link sling you want in your chat, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like that competes with Mo. Mo gets on some really good some rebuttals almost. Like he's almost like the show, and the show is kind of commenting on what Mo's talking about. That's what I like
live
to see.
tweeting the whole show. Yeah. Now Mo's an asset. Mo's an asset to any chat that he goes to.
I appreciate him showing up. So yeah, we got this. This is the main cover.
Also, by Kelso Mazine, so the same guy that's doing the interiors has done this cover, because I want people to be able to say, well, this is the package you get. We've got some variants, but this is the standard cover on the standard edition of the book.
Yeah, I love the Barton Bros, and I love, what's your other variant?
Renzo Rodriguez.
But this is like one of the best covers in CG period. So I backed this one. If I backed one, or I did back, this is the one I backed. But it's incredible. So
it's also the triple pack. If people can't decide, just buy all three. I don't mind. I'll sell it to you.
That's right.
Do it.
I respect the Barton Bros, but geez, man, if I back twice, which everyone should be, I'd recommend going back to the original if you haven't gotten that yet. That's awesome. So good.
That little profile there, that's actually scanned off an old G.I. Joe packet.
Really?
Yeah, I got that offline. Somebody had scanned it and used Photoshop to erase all the text, and just left it blank. So I grabbed that and I just did, and it's actually the layout's exactly the same as the old G.I. Joe ones. The name, the code name, the serial number, that sort of thing. And I slapped the top secret, the CIA label on it. And,
Can I ask what makes him the team leader? Since like in the beginning, like you said, they're not really cohesive. What personality, I guess, asset is he bringing that like they default to him being the leader? Is that
That's a good question. More so than anybody, he's ex-military. He was an operator before he got his powers. There's a scene there where the powers get neutralized, and some dudes try to take him on, and he just completely face rolls them. And they're like, "How?" And he goes, "I was a bad motherfucker before I got these powers." Like, it just makes me worse, you know. So it's because he's military. Like Abbott doesn't want to lead. He doesn't want that responsibility. He's the oldest. He's the strongest, and he's not dumb. Like he's superhuman intelligent. He's got superhuman senses, superhuman strength, endurance, resistant to injury, speed. You know, he's like a little Hulk. But he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be making those decisions. He's happy because he was born a fully grown man. He never had that development you get of being a teenager and making mistakes. All those mistakes he made when he was a fully grown man with the power of, say, Ben Grimm or Colossus. Imagine being a teenager or a 6-year-old or a 6-week-old with that power being thrust into combat situations with no psychologist to talk to. Like, they didn't know how to handle him. They made him, and they made him a weapon, but they didn't know they made him a man as well.
Right.
You know, so he's had to deal with a lot, and he does not want to be put on the front lines dealing with decisions. He'll kill who you tell him to. Cinder, the guy that's on fire, he's an ex-mafia hitman. Gates is as an ex-mafia hitman. He can't die. His body always reconstitutes.
Do you have any other profiles around here or no?
Not on this page, no. But I've got them all completed, and they're all going to go in the deluxe edition.
Cool. I just didn't want to like miss scrolling down when I have the chance. So I'm just going to scroll while you talk.
Yeah. You kill people for money, you kill people for hire, but then he realized he can't die, and he just keeps getting older and older, but he doesn't actually die, and he just keeps reconstituting. How much damage he takes, he's able to bring himself back together, the flame and the ash. So Boss came to him and said, look, you're killing these people, you're not happy about it. Let me tell you who to kill. Let me tell you who are the bad guys, and you can make the world a better place. So he in a way, he's the most patriotic of them all, because he really believes he's making a difference. Whereas for Jura, he's doing it because he's sweet on her and needs something to do. Abbott's doing it because he wants to be a hero. Gates is just doing it for a paycheck. He's a teleporter. He's a guy with the long coat and the long hair, and he's just there for a paycheck. So as soon as things go south and the government says, "Oh, look, we're cutting you off. We're burning you, blacklisting you," Gates he's like, "I'm out. I'm going to teleport to Honduras. You guys will never see me again." And it's Jura who holds the team together and says, "If you do that, the minute they pick you up, we're dead. The minute they pick us up, you're dead. Like you can't elude them forever. The best way to get on top of this is if we stick together, we stop the terrorist attack, we clear our names, and we get some good dirt to get us back in the good graces. Let's blackmail or bribe our way back into the CIA to negate that burn notice. Because if you leave with that burn notice over your head, you'll be dead in 2 weeks. We're going to find you stuffed in a dumpster with your throat cut. So if you leave, you're a dead man. If you stay with us, at least you've got a chance." And Gates like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And he manages to hold him together for a while, hold the team together while they follow all these red herrings and dead ends. Because it gets to the point where even their own people are betraying them and giving them false leads and stuff like that. They don't know who to trust. They don't even know how they can trust everybody within the team. Because Ramjet, the speedster, he's a new addition. He's just been added. There's a scene there where Jura walks in to give Boss his report. And he's like, "Who's this guy in the fancy duds, in his shiny costume?" He goes, "That's Ramjet. He's a speedster." I don't want him. Well, you wanted a speedster. You've been requisitioning a speedster for 4 years. Here's your speedster. He's young. He's new. He's inexperienced. He's a rookie. I don't want him. He's still wearing his costume, for crying out loud. Who wears a costume? Nobody wears costumes over here. He's going to get a shot in the head day one. And he's like, well, I'm actually faster than the speeding, but I don't want to hear it, kid. So he's this new guy being brought on, this rookie, this guy that's so eager to prove himself. He's so eager to please because he's a brand new superhero still with all the trimmings and the truth, justice, and the American way rattling around in his head. But is he really, or is he a plant? Because he's the newest guy in the team, and right after he turns up, everything goes south. So they don't know who to trust. And Jura's trying to say, look, I know we can't trust each other, but we kind of have to trust each other because otherwise we're on our own, and none of us can make it on our own.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Mo here, very much so. Seems like there's a lot of different allies in different corners. So the youngest team member is he also the youngest, or am I wrong?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that seems logical. And is that one of the catalysts that move the plot forward? I'm sure.
Yep.
In this book, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's such a good one because it's a team book, obviously. So anything that kind of pulls from that can be a challenge in itself amongst the other dangers. That's pretty awesome. This thing I like going up close on this because this is a great cover.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I first got the pencils for it. I'm just, I was like, this is really happening, guys. And then I got the inks for it. I'm like, I'm a comic book creator. Thank you. And then I got the colors back, and I just did that Vince McMahon thing where I just keeled out of my seat, and you didn't see me for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's so great.
Good. But it seems like it captures all the characters and their speciality all on one composition that's epically set up. I mean, you've got the just the verticals, the setup, the layering, everything.
And the colors really did a number. I'm sure the colors just like you didn't think we're going to amp it up this much, but they do. They do.
Yeah. It's cool when I get it back because Kelso adds so much stuff to it. Sometimes he clears it with me, sometimes he doesn't, and I have to readjust, and that's okay. Like I'm not a control freak. I keep it fairly loose. He Boss wasn't as sexy in the script as she is now. He's like, look, there's no women in this book. There's like one woman. Can I make her sexy? I'm like, yeah, righto. Every scene, he's like, can I add hookers and strippers to this scene? Yes, go for it. No. He's from Brazil. He loves the beautiful ladies. He just couldn't handle this sausage festival.
No Lola Bunny in it.
I want to get to the big points. So is there any other supplemental kind of add-ons or things like that you want to talk about, or do you just want to run through the perks?
Something that's big about this book is, and it's not something that comes up all the time straight away, but it is something that's worth knowing is, if you guys know Greg Levitre, who's doing Gun Demon, he approached me and he said, look, I really like what you're doing with the Company Men. I'm trying to build a shared universe. If it's compatible, would you be interested in bringing Company Men on board and not join my universe, but let's merge our universes to make it one? And I said, well, let's give it a look. Let's talk about what the world's about and let's see if those things are compatible. It turns out they very much were. G'day, Badger. And then more and more people. He's been bringing on other people. He's brought on Stefani Renee. He's brought on Chris Oak. He's brought on Bell Phelps. We've got a whole bunch. We've got a half a dozen other creators that have come on and integrated their their characters and their worlds into this. And even some people have come in and said, look, I've got this character. It's just like, something man. I've got nothing I'm doing with him. I'll find a way to fit him in this world and we make it work. Other people have got stuff that already exists. Yes, Boss is Pam Grier level hot. That is definitely a priority. Pam Grier is amazing, absolute goddess.
Nice.
So they brought in their pre-existing stuff and found that it actually did dovetail really nicely with ours. So there's one of the other properties within Brain Cage Studios, which is the name of this going concern, is World War Hell, which I think is such a great name. It's one of those names I'm like, I wish I'd come up with that. I'm jealous somebody else is using that. It's like Commie Mark's Krishna Kid, marrying Hindu scripture with Dragon Ball. I'm so mad I didn't come up with that. I don't know enough about either to really do it justice. He's going to absolutely smash it. But I'm like, that's such a good idea. How's nobody done it before? I bet everybody's kicking themselves. As soon as they hear it, Hindu scripture and Dragon Ball, like, you dickhead, how did you not do that first? Now somebody else is going to do it. So World War Hell just sounds so good. All the stuff with World War Hell and Hitler's body being reanimated and the demons and that sort of stuff dovetails perfectly into what Abbott's doing at the time. It gives him a reason to go in and fight, but still never really fulfill that purpose of killing Hitler. And he's fighting demons, facing these psychological horrors while being 6 weeks old and having the full-on power to just force his fingers into a tank and rip it open like a sardine can. He's got all this power. And he doesn't, all these monsters he's facing, he doesn't know how to deal with, and that affects his character for the next 90 years. So all this stuff dovetails really, really nicely. So a lot of the stretch goals and stuff that are coming up is stuff that's overlaps very heavily with the Brain Cage stuff. So we've got the Battlegate deck that we're working on. It's a collectible card game, battle card game, like Magic, like Versus, that sort of thing. Yeah, which incorporates characters from all the Brain Cage Studio titles. So you've got Stefani Renee Scarab, you've got Company Man, you've got the Gun Demon characters, stuff like that. And we're also dealing with other creators who aren't necessarily coming on board for Brain Cage themselves, but they're either going into the Brain Cage Unlimited imprint, which is where they do like a standalone story under our publishing hierarchy, and we're going to be able to integrate their characters into decks, or it's people who do completely their own standalone universes that don't want to integrate their characters with ours. Fair enough, you want to do your own thing, but still like the idea of having a pre-made battle deck ready to go for Battlegate, where you could get someone's characters and just pick someone. So like Dean James and Michael Oaten. This is not a real example, but they're friends, so I'll use them. Imagine having an Embrace deck to play against or alongside Company Men, and I'm playing against your Gun Demon deck with that sort of stuff.
That makes me want a Star Circuit deck in there somewhere.
If anyone's interested, hit up Greg. He's got this really, really airtight system. It's really easy, points based, very easy to work out what your powers would be, what your characters' levels would be, and it's about having them accurately represented from the comics into the card. Can they do some of the things they do from the comics on the card to make it worth your while? That sort of thing. So there's that. We've got Apparel coming out. Greg, again, he's got some contacts within the. He's just a people collector. He knows people in Hollywood. He knows people that do games. He knows people that do action figures. He just knows someone everywhere. He's got a lot of friends. So he knows someone who's in like apparel and printing and that sort of stuff. So we're going to be having some Company Men apparel come up soon. We're going to be having some Brain Cage apparel and stuff come up soon. So a lot of those stretch goals that are coming in the next couple of weeks is heavily related to a lot of the Brain Cage stuff and integrates with them.
Nice. So creatively, it's looking like it's meshing really well. Like I guess legally, there's probably some technical stuff that you have to do, right? Starting the company together, but I'm sure that'll happen no matter what you do as far as business. But yeah, that's awesome. That's something like that's an evolution, just like there's evolutions in CG that we're seeing. We're seeing some things that are like you and me, Kemosabe, like this is your first book, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like both of us are doing pretty well our first book out of the gate. And
can't complain.
And both, I feel like both our quality is the next level of CG. It's like
it's that level of tightness and precision and shine that maybe you didn't see with the first 2 rounds of CG. I mean, some of the big names, I mean, Jawbreakers always look good. Anything John Malin does looks good. The bastard. Everything he does looks good. And he worked for us, so that's fine. But there's some books that maybe had high points and low points. And that's some of what I talked about on my channel when I'm being critical about these books, positively critical and also negative critical, being fair, constructive criticism. But I feel like you're right. Both of our products have got that next level of tightness, precision, and shine that we maybe didn't see last year or the year before. That thumbnail there with my pretend face on it there. It's actually a video. I wouldn't say watch it. It's 20 minutes long. But if you're someone who's interested in this at all, there's a 20-minute video explaining how I come up with the story for the Company Man, who the characters are. So in-depth look at who they are. Your boy Zach did that with Jawbreakers. He talked about how, Devil Dog is really Punisher and Hell Priest is really Daredevil. So I want to do something similar. I don't have analogs, but this is
That's cool though. That's cool though. I that's something that I like to see, because no matter what, somebody's going to want to know the extra details. Like it could be you. Like, if I have the time, I'm definitely going to put that in the background while I draw.
And that's another point I want to add though, is that both of you did everything for your book.
No, he didn't draw, but
but
he did do a lot, because he's
views on if you did.
Because he's organizing a whole universe here with other people.
That's what I'm saying. Is like there's just like go on.
Because I've paid someone like a mercenary to do the art for me, so I haven't shared the IP. This is 100% mine. Any direction it goes, win, lose, or fail, whatever, it's on me. And Kelso will just keep getting paid. I said to him, look, this is 180 pages. I'm breaking it up into 360 so we can get it out, because I just didn't think I was going to be able to. You can't do shipping on 180 pages. But now that I'm working with RJ from Critical Blast, I really think he could have found a way to make 180 pages tenable if I'd known about him beforehand. But the art for that wouldn't be done till 2023. And like things are already not slowing down, but broadening in Comicsgate. It's less of a spike. And the funds are being distributed. Comic Market love this. The funds are being redistributed more fairly across the board. So there might be less immediate money, but more long-term benefit, because more and more people are getting on the bandwagon with their quality products. So if I'd waited till 2023, who knows, to get you a 180-page book, it might never have happened. But I said to Kelso, I've essentially got 12 60-page books scripted. 6 issues, and it makes up 4 stories: Company Men Dead, White, and Blue, Company Men Hearts of Darkness, Company Men Cold War, and Company Men Insurgent. 4 standalone stories, 3 issues each, but it forms one long epic quadrilogy sort of thing. You can read them standalone, but if you read them in the spin-off stuff, I've got a bunch of spin-off stuff written as well. There's character overlap. Some die, some come back, some leave the team, some rejoin later, some get rebranded, new powers, that sort of stuff. It always like a real comic book. It all changes over time. And I said, "Are you happy to stay on for all 12 of those books?" He's like, "Yeah, man. You keep paying me, I'll keep drawing." So I've got him locked in as the visual style for that. I said, "You're going to be working for me for the next 4 or 5 years, man." He's like, "That's cool. You pay on time. I'm happy to do that." So all right, rock and roll. Let's make it happen. So
dude, that's what an artist wants. Like,
that's security.
I mean, I don't know how it is in Brazil with artists, but over here in America, it is. You're looking for a gig that lasts a while, and he probably has other gigs going on at the same time. Otherwise, you can't pull. He's either got a day job or another client or two. But that's awesome. You're in some way you're not really helping America because you're outsourcing, but because you're not in America either. But if you were paying an American artist, it would be helping us out quite a bit. We need as much America dollars in the creative realm as we can. So I want to bring up a couple things like the perks before we run out of time.
Sure.
We are running out of time.
That happens when I'm on. I talk a lot.
It's all good, dude.
If you hadn't noticed,
it's the world building. I relate to this a lot. Like if I just had the moment where I could have ears to blast off my lore to people, dude. I spent so much time working on my stuff. I would like.
It
dude,
sounds like you should do the same video that he did, Jeremy. Do you like?
About the making and how it comes, dude. Yes,
definitely do that.
If you make a video like that,
he did.
He did. Yeah. So
you should make a video.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check it out.
That'd be awesome.
It's good fun. It's good. It's good to be able to talk about it and say this is why I did what I did, because there's a lot of that little minutiae and background stuff and deepest lore that people might not come across, and you don't need to know it to enjoy the story, but knowing it does enhance. So with the perks here, we've got that Clayton Barton cover, colored by Corey Barton. Absolutely amazing bit of work there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's on the deluxe edition. I think it's got a little USD conversion down the bottom here. It's a bit tricky because I put stuff in round Australian dollars, so it comes out as like $38.77 for you guys. I don't know, but I couldn't. If I'd put in, I had to put it in Australian dollars. So if I'd gone and checked out exactly what say $30 US was and put in $30 US converted to AUD. Next week, it's still going to be a different amount. It'll still be $32.46. I couldn't win. So I just had to do what I had to do. So this is the deluxe edition. So you get the standard 60 pages of story. When I say it's a 60-page book in the standard edition, that's 60 story pages. From page 1 that you see right here to page 60, where the company men have definite proof that the terrorist attack is going down. It's 100% locked in, like, right, we now know this is the real thing. We've gone through, in terms of storytelling, that 3-act structure. At the end of Act 1, they've gone through the point of no return. You cannot return to a world where you did not know about this terrorist attack. And by knowing about it, you must take action. Great power, great responsibility, even for us or mercenary mercs who kill people for money. They're still motivated to do something, because if they don't, America gets drawn into another war. Tens of thousands more American lives, money, blood, gold, dollars. It's not worth it. If they can stop it now and make a big bonus to their pay packet, why not do it? And some have personal reasons for wanting to do it. Some are actually more invested in the patriotism of the country, and some just want to get paid. So that's the 60-page story. The 80 pages, you get an extra 20 pages. I mentioned that in the video, of all the good stuff, all the character concepts and breakdowns and script bits and pieces and all. Like you see my original, I was living right out in the bush for a while and I didn't have a computer, so I was drawing my characters in Biro and coloring it with my kids' color pencils, and then take a photo of it on my phone and go into work and upload it and email it to Kelso and say, this is my sketch, can you do something with it? And it'd adapt the characters and that sort of thing. So we've got a digital edition for 15 AUD, so it's a 60-page book. I think it comes out to be about $12 for digital. And all the physical books come with digital anyway. So if you get the deluxe edition, the Clayton Barton, you also get a digital with it. You get the standard one here, you get a digital with it. You get the triple pack down below, you get the digital with it. So this is the standard.
It's very progressive of you. I feel like not all CG would feel the same. However,
that model, and like when people say stuff and someone goes, "Oh, that's an exception to me," well, I'm not trying to piss you off, obviously. Like, I'm just saying in general, and I can't know everybody's circumstance, but in general, that model of that physical book in your hand works for Zach, works for EVS, works for Malin. I don't have that sort of clout. People aren't clamoring for my name online. So what have I got to do? Get my book into people's hands. I've spent 10 grand on this book. So far, I've made 5 grand on the Indiegogo. That covers the publishing and distribution of the book. I've lost $10,000 on this book already. You're damn right. I want to get it to as many people's hands as possible. So then they come back next time, and then maybe I only lose 2 grand on the next one. and they come back next time, maybe make $1,000 on the third book, $1,000 overall by the whole thing, finally pays itself off. Then the second story comes around, people come back again, I start making money. This is a 5-year plan. Like I know I'm going deep in the hole. I'm lucky I'm married up. I'm lucky my wife's she worked all the way through the COVID. She said, I got some extra money.
I didn't realize the advantage I had as sorry to interrupt, but I didn't realize like me doing the art and stuff for Star Circuit was that much, because like you don't add it up in your own brain. You're just it's just time that you do. But I'm like, yeah, you're right. I probably would be spending every cent that I raised.
Well, I only back digital because that's all I can afford. I can't afford $30 plus $30 postage for Jawbreaker's God King, because that's $60. That's another page and a half from Kelso, or a page for Kelso when she converted over into Australian money. I can't do that. So every spare cent I got goes towards making this book. So you got the triple pack here. That's all 3 covers. So you got that Renzo Rodriguez variant cover, which we've got a bigger picture of that down further we can have a look at.
Okay, cool.
And that was a secret perk. So if you signed up ahead of time and gave me your email for the email list, you got access to the Renzo Rodriguez cover. You got a chance to win a page of original art from Kelso Mazzine. I did the draw for that the other day. We had all 10 people we went through, did the art draw. So 10 people.
I was unlucky.
They've won.
I was so pissed.
There was 56 people that were unlucky. We had 66 people that were eligible who did everything you need to do to be qualified for that, and only had the 10 pages to give away. So that's 56 people were really I felt so bad, man. I almost feel like I shouldn't have done it, because the amount of people that I consider friends, they're just like, better luck next time. And I'm like, I failed you. I'm sorry. It felt so bad to have to say to these guys. But Hex, I think I saw Hex in here a minute ago. Hex, he got a page.
Nice.
KFC Jesus Del Rio, a friend of mine from 6-scale combat, stuff like that. Like he won a page. So it's good to be able to say to some people you consider mates won a page, but then there's a bunch of people that are friends that didn't. Nice. So we've got some pages up for sale here.
Yeah, I'm glad Hex got it. Critical Blast is in the house finally.
And I haven't even had a chance to talk about what I'm doing with him, so I'll just mention that real quick in a sec as well. Sure. So you've got an original art page. You've got character sketch, any character you want, Kelso will draw it for you in his style. You've got the cover art, which is available.
Wow, still available. This is still available for $1,000.
Yeah, I'm really hesitant to sell that, because I'd love to have it right here above my computer and look up and see it whenever I look up. But at the same time, that's $1,000, man. That puts me $1,000 closer to being in the black. That's $1,000 off the costs. You know what I mean? So big picture type stuff. I can always get a colored print and get a big colored print, high res, put right above. And when I look at it and it's in color, it's not the original black and white. I'll know why, because I took that extra $1,000 to get myself ahead. You know, I said to my wife, this is where the campaign's at. And she goes, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're doing where you said you were going to, where you thought. It'd be nice to be where you wanted to be, but where you are is where you've realistically figured you would be. You are on track. It's a marathon, 5 years. You said this. Get on it.
And this is, guys, let's play it for all you Americans, dude. This is only $775 American. That's a steal deal. That's a steal deal, guys. Get on this, especially if you got the American dollars. So let's go down. Somebody already bought the Clayton.
Yeah, that went in the did the launch stream on Bancroft's a couple of days after you, and nice. that was like the 3rd or 4th backer got that. So that's a high-res print of Clayton Barton's original art. And as you guys know, he works digital, so I didn't have a real piece of art to sell. And it's actually Michael Oden of the Embrace. What you want to do is get a high-res print of that, get Clayton to sign it, and then sell that as the original. I mean, especially with all this NFT stuff that's going around now, I think more and more people are more like, yes, this is the only physical version of this. I will never print another one off. Clayton and I have the original art. If I print another one off, Lord strike me down. Scouts on it, all that sort of business. Like just the one. We've got that. I know who it is. They got it. It's the one. It's theirs. So congratulations and thanks for that, because that was a big boost early on.
That is huge. I was trying to think about that, because I sell my original pages, but there's probably some other ways to pull that off. The digital with signing and putting it as like a limited thing or exclusive. That's a great idea. So you mentioned you had a Renzo's down here, or no?
Yep.
Another cover.
Scrolling down.
It's
underneath the Barton one, I think. There we go. That's the Renzo one there. What I love about this cover is that it tells a story about every character. So you got Boss up the middle, because she's the boss. She runs the thing. She's the face that runs the place. She thinks it's all about her. And to her, the people are generally fairly expendable. So she's out the front looking looking hot. She was not that hot when I designed, let me tell you. That's all right there. I owe that man some. You got Abbott on one side and Jura on the other because they're like her bodyguards. They've been with her the longest. They both love and care about her in different ways. Abbott looks at her like a little sister. He'll kill and fight and die for her. Jura has romantic feelings, unrequited or not. Buy the book and find out. He has romantic feelings for her, which is weird because there's a power play. He's an incredibly power post-human, metahuman. He can do all this sort of crazy stuff with ice. She's a normal, regular woman with a bionic hand. It's all about the AFT. Realize that. The next Company Man book, I'm going to gender swap them all to be females. Triple D cup, I'm going to make an absolute fortune.
Dude, Abbott's going to be so hot, dude.
With that mohawk. Rams it over the side as the newest player in the team. You can see him trying to edge his way in there, like a traditional superhero pose. Yeah, I'm a hero, getting in there, like he wants to be in with the boys. You got Cinder over the side, a little bit removed from everybody, like he's present, but he knows that he's not like everybody else. And then you got Gates right up the back having a smoke, saying, "Look at these wankers over here getting a photo taken, like big bloody superheroes, their fancy capes and tights and sparkles. I'm just going to have a cigarette because I don't play like that."
Dude, that's cool. I do dig this cover, and the colors are good. Oops, I'm trying to zoom out of this one that we can get to see some other things. So we're hit 10 o'clock. We're going to push it to 10:05. But
thanks.
Any extra details that you want to include, like outside of the books, like details, maybe things you got coming up, stretch goals or anything?
Well, real quick, I want to talk about how I'm working with RJ at Critical Blast. I'm shipping all the US books to him, and he's redistributing them from the US. So you guys are paying up to half of what you're expecting to pay from a foreign book. So if you back this book, shipping is, like, some people said to me, "Man, that's less than half what I paid for other Australian books." So it's surprisingly low for what it is. And I'm hoping by, like, RJ's got a fantastic setup. He's got a spreadsheet with all the costs that you just plug in relative to your region.
Yeah, that is cheap.
Right down to the cent. He told me it will cost you exactly X dollars and 2 cents to ship each book today. Now, with exchange rates, it'll go up or down a couple of cents, but he could tell me to the cent what it would cost. Like, he's got it so locked down. It's such a good system. I think it's going to be the future. I think
I've already talked to him about the next round because I got a toy coming up.
I was doing a pretty good Constantine impersonation, but Gates is actually American. He's not British. I'm just Australian, so it sounds like that. But yeah, definitely hit up RJ. He's got a fantastic. There you go. That's lovely. He'll get you sorted out. And even if you're in America, like, the costs are still low. He bags boards, Gemini mailer, thermal wrap. Like, he does the whole thing. It's a super tight organization. I'm really impressed with what he's doing. He gave me the spiel. I said, "Brother, I'm sold." And I said to him, "If this works out the way you say it will and the way I believe it will, you can just do all my books." Because I'm the sort of guy, g'day, call me Mark, that if something works, I don't change it. I go to a restaurant, if I like that meal, I always get gnocchi carbonara, the Italian around the corner. I rock up, they say, "Do you want gnocchi carbonara?" Yes, I do. Why would I get anything else? It's what works for me. So, if it works the way that he says it's going to work, expect all my books to come through RJ, because why the hell not? He's saving me money, he's saving you guys money.
Dude, I've seen some of the things behind the scenes, and we talked about just like how we figured this out, because I needed to like do some pre stuff for the 3D print I'm going to do for Star Circuit. But yeah, I can see, dude, that's so cheap. Most people are going to be double that. So I'm glad that you are actually pioneering this, Kemosabe, because CG does need to evolve. It is evolving, like we talked about. The art's evolving. I think you are evolving in two ways: the shared universe with Greg. Yes, Greg. What was it called?
Brain Cage.
Brain Cage. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And so I think between that and your evolution into just like overall, like the cards, is that that's like another kind of united thing for CG, which is awesome. Yep. But yeah, I think what you're doing is more important than just the book. So anybody who is backed already, try to maybe just throw them another original, some money for the original sketch or something. Back twice. I may do the same because I do like the artists here.
And we're getting some prints and stuff and posters and that coming up soon with the stretch goals and stuff like that, poster packs and apparel and stuff that you guys can buy on. And if that's the sort of thing you're interested in, just to, like you said, just to push us further to those goals. We've got a lot of irons in the fire, and we're really sensible and safe with the budgeting and how we do that. But it does mean that sometimes you hit this point. Like, Greg was saying, "Oh, do you want to look at this and that?" I said, "I'm tapped right now, man. Like that, I'm at the limit. I'm at my safe limit." So I'll ride with what I got, and then let's hit it in the next cycle and see if we can access that sort of stuff. And we're talking action figures and all sorts of stuff in the future.
Good.
Like I said, he's got things lined up. So it's going to be, come back and check with us in 5 years and
Hell
sort of
yeah.
see where we're at.
I'm definitely stoked for everything you guys are going to be doing, because it sounds like something I would do if Star Circuit wasn't so enclosed and in like a mini-series style. I would be asking the deck maybe, and I would probably advertise that as much as you could, because I think Brain Cage is going to go is pioneering that way as well, like we said. So Jeremy, maybe we can do a little bit of a talk with you, what you're up to before we bounce off this stream.
Yeah, real quick, let me share this over to you, and I won't do the trailer this time. I mean, unless you're really wanting it. We're kind of crunched right now, but
right, yeah. So
my game,
pitch.
Yeah, my game is Beckoned. It's a 2-man team. We're Zade Studios. It's me and my older brother Dwight. He's programming. I'm doing all the visual stuff, and I'm the face of the company. But Beckoned is a 20-hour epic JRPG which follows 3 young adventurers as they try to reclaim a stolen necklace. While they're on that journey and scurrying across these wild landscapes, they are pulled within a political upheaval between 2 major superpowers within the planet. Denethite, this corruptive source of mass that kind of corrupts the body and the host, as well as Loden shards, these magical crystals that allow one to interact with the physical E8 lattice and allow you to cast these fire spells and all that magic stuff. So if you want to check out our Indiegogo, did I not share that over to you, Jim?
You did not, but
yeah. Okay.
I was actually hoping Herrenberg would get to it. Herrenberg probably is skilled enough to find it, and
there we go.
But we got it.
So yeah, here we are. That's what's going on. We do have a very large goal. It is an independent game for 2 guys, and even that's a little low for getting the game going. But we have 3 different tiers. We have the bronze, silver, and gold tier, as well as a platinum tier. So you'll get the base game at $68K, and after that, we'll start unlocking these little bonus, stretch goals, and then we'll each tier is another major game mechanic addition to it. So it's more people, more money, more effects, more stuff, and then I've done some graphical stuff that part of those stretch goals. So that's a 2-dimensional like sprite, and I'm moving a light source around it, and it's casting shadows. So we would like to get a full lighting system into the game as well. At the bottom of it, if any of the names were hard to pronounce, we have helped you out with the glossary and some definitions there too.
That's
so
awesome.
Guys, there is a demo on Steam if you want to try out this new real-time twist to turn-based combat. Just go to Steam, press download, and play it, and then hit in discussions. Let us know what you think. That's about what I got on my spiel tonight, Joe. Guys,
That's
if you
awesome.
want to check us out, look up Zade Studios on Instagram, Twitters, and we have a YouTube channel where I've been doing stuff every day right now. So
yeah,
look.
Jeremy's the real deal. Do not deny. Him and his brother are doing some great stuff with games. It's kind of what makes Art Bros. Can't do Art Bros without Jeremy. So, however, this is the end of our stream. I have a stretch goal we're trying to hit for Star Circuit. It's got another 600 to go, but it has to deal with the mixtape, and I'm going to play that as the outro, some of the music for that. And thank you, Kemosabe, for coming on. Thank you for all the help you've helped me with on my project, and best of luck with promoting Company Man.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And everything I said about the Star Circuit script, like honestly, you blew me away. It's an A+ script first time out the gate, and knowing you're my competition is, it makes things, friendly competition. But you look at the quality of the script, and you're like, damn, like CG stepping their game up, man. Like
it makes everybody make better stuff.
It does. Iron sharpens iron, as they say. So, definitely. Good luck with the rest of your campaign,
dude. I'm psyched to read Company Man when it comes out. Everyone, go back it twice, maybe back it 3 times.
Get the triple back.
Yes, the triple back, the infamous triple back. I'm sure Corey Barnes back 3 times at one point in his life. And everyone in the chat, let's say a quick goodbye. Thanks for showing up, Critical Blast. It's good to see you, Herrenberg. Maybe we can steal you from Critical Blast channel. And Corey, thank you for showing up as well, man. You and Clayton are doing great things on all the projects out there. That's it for Art Bros. I'm gonna outro this thing with, like I said, this mixtape that is just killer for Star Circuit. Help us hit 11K, and everybody gets it on the project. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.